Now, Craig, we've been told to keep this short because we've been known to talk a lot. You're probably better than me at talking, which is unbelievable, all going on, and we talk about ourselves, but you're a man after my own heart. I actually like you a lot. I like you a lot. You make me look good, you make yourself look good, we all look good together. Tell us a bit about what you're doing at the Melbourne Football Club at the moment, because you've come from another club to the Red and Blue.
I like your shit. Thank you for the support, everybody. Without you guys, people like me don't get to have the job that they've always dreamed about. It's really interesting that Robbo's calling me Craig and some of the great mates, because I've walked past him in the footy club every day for 6 months. He just calls me mate. I don't think he really knows me. And you guys probably don't know who I am either. You all knew who Russell Robinson was. But I am the Russell Robinson of the coach's box. That's exactly what this footy club needs. Now, I forgot the first question.
Just tell us a bit about it.
So I had 10 years at Essendon Footy Club. In the last 4 years in that role there, I worked with Simon Goodwin. And when he got the job at Melbourne, he was very keen to get me across to help him. Simon and I have a really good relationship in the coach's box. So Simon's a great Monday to, he's probably the best I've ever seen in terms of Monday to Friday. Analysing footy and knowing how to teach it, knowing how to coach it. But him and I have a special connection in the coach's box. And a big part of my role is the coach's box, because I watch 100 games of live footy a year, and I've been doing that for 12 years. So I've got a pretty good understanding of what a game looks like against the team when you win it, and what it looks like when you lose that game. After 10 years at Essendon, I had 1 year at the Western Bulldogs, and I learned probably set them up. But I did learn more probably in a year at the Western Bulldogs under Luke Beveridge than I did in 4 or 5 of my years at Essendon. Obviously, he had really good information coming out of Hawthorn, really up-to-date coach, a very positive coach, and I wanted to bring a lot of that stuff to Melbourne. I promised Peter Jackson when I came in and Josh Marnie that I'd make us 4 goals a week better, and currently we're 5 goals a week better. What I did learn from that is I should have asked for more money. But importantly, it's a much more exciting way to play footy. I'm sure it's much more equal. I know it'll be much more interesting to watch. And the key stat out of that is it's the biggest improvement from 1 year to the next in terms of goal scoring. That's not taking anything away from the importance of defence, but what I believe in is that you can set up the field position at stoppages and in general play to not only help your scoring, but to improve your contest method and not take anything away from defence. And that's what Hawthorn's been doing for a long time, what the Western Bulldogs have been able to do the last 2 years. What that involves a little bit is just playing in front of your man. So you'll see a lot of goals out the back, and when you're watching footy, you probably get pretty annoyed about them, all the goals from the goal square. But the reality is there's only 1 extra goal a week from the goal square across the competition. Okay, so what happens is you just notice these things a little bit more, but they've always been happening. Another thing to keep in mind is every premiership team, they average about 100 points for and 86 points against. So teams are going to score. Okay, you can't keep a team to 0. And that's something I think Melbourne have been doing the last 4 or 5 years, is playing a really negative, contested method and style of game, which is really important. Okay, it's the basis, but you'll see every week a lot of teams win contested possession by 20 or 30 and still lose the game. And that's when people like me come in to change that game style up so that if you lose contested footy, there's still a chance to win the game. And more importantly, we can turn a contest win into a score. Okay, so too often, teams, they'll win the contest and handball to somebody half a metre away and that player gets tackled. So you're +1 in the contest, but you've gone nowhere with the footy. That's pointless. I'd rather win a contest and handball 10 metres away, or kick it 40 metres away, and then you create a score out of that. So now we've both won a contest, but one created a score and one created another stoppage. Bulldogs last night won the contest and lost the game. GWS round 1, we lost the contest and won the game. So it's really important that you focus on the contest defence and the way you move the footy. If you're really good in attack, you put pressure on the opposition, because you've got scoreboard pressure. putting defenders under pressure. But importantly, you're getting good field position. You're moving the footy forward, so you would have seen that a lot more in our plays, especially in our big games. We're really attacking, moving the footy forward and locking it in our half. I don't even know what the question was anymore.
Thank you very much, Craig. I see a camera over there. This is my better side. I see a camera over here. No, not at all. Just go to my question section. I can hear you talk about that stuff all day because we're watching the games at the moment and wondering why we're doing things a certain way. It's different to what we've been doing, as you said, over the last 5 years. Yes, I can see the method and I can see what we're trying to do at last because in years gone by I've been, what are they actually trying to do? One question I did want to ask though, you're talking about winning the contest. So we're handballing a lot around the contest and trying to own the ball. And I sit at the MCG up in the stands every week and I hear people say, kick it, because we're handballing too much. Does that annoy you when you hear that because you know what we're actually trying to do?
We do handball too much. So what that's a reflection of is teaching the contest and players trying to do the right thing, and they all get around the footy, and then someone wins the footy and sees a teammate and just handballs to them. So that's something that with another year of training we'll iron out, you get better shape of the footy. What Geelong did last night against the Bulldogs bring great pressure. And they were handballing 3 and 4 metres and then kicking the footy and finding a mark, and that relieves pressure. But we go into games, we're a high handball team, so that encourages the opposition to want to come into that game and really tackle us, and that puts us under more and more pressure. So it's just something, because we're such a young group, they'll get better at working the handballs. Something that's I've been trying to bring into the footy club in terms of the training from the coaches. Is you'll see the best teams, they start throwing the footy out a little bit. What we do at the moment is we'll handball from here to here and we'll be stationary and then we'll get caught. I'd like to see us just start throwing the footy out a little bit into space and create scores that way. So don't get too upset when we over handball because it's something that we'll get better at in time, and it's part of finding free players, and we'll keep working on that. But we definitely want to keep the footy a little bit more than we do at the moment.
Given that you watch a lot of football and you've watched the good sides over the years, and the Hawthorns, the Geelong at the moment, the Western Bulldogs, which you were a part of, why are they so good? What do they do really well? And what is the modern day game? How do you win in modern day football?
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of coaches talk about education. So Hawthorn employed 5 or 6 people that are being school teachers, I think. And so a lot of clubs are following that model. And I had 10 years as a lecturer at Swinburne University, so it's a little bit of my background. So it's the way you teach players is pretty important because it's an equalised system now. Pretty much every player comes in, equal access to the draft. So how you educate players is pretty important. But one thing I would say, what Hawthorn and Hawthorn teams have got away with. So you think about the influence of Hawthorn, assistant coaches go to GWS, Leon Cameron, makes them probably nearly premiership favourites at the moment. Adam Simpson at West Coast gets them in the grand final in 2 years. Don Pike out of West Coast that would have learned from the Hawthorn system, doing really well at Adelaide. Brendan Baldwin at Carlton had a big impact. So Hawthorn definitely have some tricks that I know, one from analysing them, but 2 from working with Luke Beveridge, and that stuff I brought into the footy club. So they really use the space around the man on the mark very well, those teams. And the teams that don't know how to do it or don't train it, don't do it effectively. And if you think of it logically, if I've got a kick here and the man on the mark's 10 metres away and I'm kicking from back here and kicking 50 metres, it's going 50 metres. But if I can give it to the handball just behind the man on the mark, now I've gained the 10 metres to the man on the mark plus the 10 metres behind it, and now I kick it 50, I've gained 70 metres, and it goes over the top of defences, and that's why you see a lot of goals running into open goal now. Not only that, a lot of people manning the mark man the corridor a little bit, so you can actually run up alongside the man on the mark and then drive it, and you've gained 10 metres. So now defences are set up 50 metres away, and you're kicking over the top of them. Now if they start setting up 60 and 70 metres away to cover that man on the mark, play that you've got happening, now you can find some shorter kicks in a little bit closer and kick it 20 and then go over the top after that. So the way you use the space around the man on the mark sounds really basic, but it has a really big impact on the result. Another thing those teams do really well that I've brought into the footy club, and even if it doesn't work, I want us to do it because I want us to be more lateral and much more creative in the coach's box, because I think that gives first the opposition teams a bit more to think about, but also sends a really good message to our players that we're cutting edge and we're proactive. And one thing you'll see with us, and it's been a bit about on TV with the diamond defence and the way the defenders come straight into the centre bounce. So the way I analyse footy is that once that ball's balled up in the centre bounce, it's just a contest now, it's not a centre bounce anymore. And what we coach, or every team coaches, is to get more numbers at the footy. You hear Brendan McCartney, Paul Roos, Simon Goodwin, Benny Matthews, that's all they talk about. If Yoppo's got 3 players, we'll get 4. If they've got 4, we'll get 5. And every single club does that. And what I've found is that the centre bounce, everyone just stands around the square. But as soon as that ball hits the deck, why aren't you outnumbering like a normal team? So a defender comes in, and there's 4v4 in there. If you come in before the forward, now 5, it's 5v4. And people say, well, what if the forward races forward? Well, that's okay, because you've got defenders back there that can cover that off. And 5v4 is going to win more than 4v4, so you're more likely to win it. Kick it to Hogan, hopefully. But even if you don't win it, there's enough pressure on it, that ball gets skied into their forward line. And what I teach the players is every second of delay, every second that ball's in the air, you can cover 10 metres. So no one can tell me that if I'm coming in off the square and a forward takes off the other way, that I haven't got time. That ball's in the air for 3 or 4 seconds. I can run 40 metres and catch him again. Or get another defender to, if he goes a little deep, to get under him. And then I go on his opponent. So rather than just worrying about my opponent, we call it 1.5 men, where you're responsible not just for your man, but your teammate's man. And a guy Gibson at Hawthorn won 2 best and fairest in premiership teams because he just played off his opponent. He'd play in front, his opponent would be back there, and most balls after a contest dribble out, he's in front. And what that does in attack, he can now take off in attack. So it helps your attack, you haven't lost anything in defence. If it's a sky ball, he's still got time to come back and spoil, hasn't he? And he won 2 best and fairest coming back playing that role in premiership teams, spoiling the footy, just playing 10 metres in front of his man. So that helped with his attack, helped with his defence. And you can take that further at a midfield stoppage. The forward can go back anywhere he wants. What I ask players at Hawthorn and the best teams, Bulldogs, West Coast do it, GWS do it, all to different extents. Get that player to stand the defender off his opponent, off the forward, play off his opponent, stand where he wants to stand, and he can come in and help the contest and outnumber. If we win it, that player is now free. So if you think about guys like Bernadette, Salem, Jones, who plays that role sometimes, Hunting, they're often on their own because their forward's back somewhere else and they're playing just off the stoppage and they can drive the footy forward. Alternatively, if you're not going to win it, there should be enough pressure at the footy that you've still got that time to come back and spoil it. And so every club does that, but it looks different at every club. So if you think about it, we've got Salem in that role. He's probably going to get the footy and go left. But at Hawthorn, if they've got Sam Mitchell in that role, or Birchall, they're probably going to pivot and kick left or right foot and hit somebody. At the Bulldogs, they put Easterwood, Bob Murphy, Johannison in those roles. What do? They run and take off. So when people say Hawthorn and Bulldogs look different, they do look different because that's personnel. But the actual setup is exactly the same. Just the player in that role or in that position makes it look a little bit different. So what we're doing is helping attack without taking anything away from defence, and that's why we're 5 goals better off in attack this year.
I seriously could listen to that all day because we watch it, don't we? And we're trying to work it out. You've learned more from this guy in the 5-minute answers that he gives. Watching all the games, and it's brilliant. I really do. What's your name again, mate? Great to have you here, Craig. And another question before I let you go, because we're going to get some food into these guys. I had a lunch yesterday, or the day before yesterday, with a great man, Neil Danaher, and he got up and spoke to a group of people and said, talent is overrated. Do you prescribe to that? It's not, obviously you need talent, but he knew what he meant when he said it. Talent is overrated. It's all about what you were talking about there, development and all that sort of stuff. Can you speak to that, and also speak to the youth of this side at the moment, the Melbourne Football Club, and where we're positioned moving forward? Because you look at the Bulldogs, they're going really well now, but they were a young side, probably when you were there, that had small games into them now, and they're actually producing. Can you talk to those two things?
Exactly right. But it did remind me of Jack Watts when I came into this footy club, and players selected the team pre-season and no one, every player selected their best 22. Pretty much no one had Jack Watts in. And I looked at him play and I'm thinking, I can turn this player into an All-Australian player. And everyone laughed at me. I came to functions like this early season, everyone laughed at me. But he is so talented. He's the sort of player you want in your team. And what happens when you come to a club like Melbourne is they focus so much on the contest that they want to have 22 Jack Viney's. But you haven't got time. Woody hasn't got time to find 22 Jack Viney's. 22 Jack Viney's might not win your apprenticeship anyway. You need balance. Because he'll win the footy when he'll miss goals. And one thing about Jack Watts, doesn't miss very often. And he creates goals for other players. And so when I came in, I spent a lot of time with him. And actually, Brucey's taking credit for this in the age today, but he's basically said, and seriously, he even mentions Jack Viney, and I reckon I've said it to Brucey about 3 times a week, that little quote, so I'll be talking to him later. It's going to be a difficult conversation. So, I'll give you an insight, and it's a big part of my role, but it's about the contest stuff. Let's say a player, Michael Jack Watts, ducks his head. I don't care. The ball hits the deck. If we're so good, Brayshaw will come and clean it up. Jack Viney will come and clean it up. Jonesy, Bernie Biggs, all the hard blokes. But you want players that can finish and hit the scoreboard. They're just as valuable because if Nathan Jones runs in and misses a goal, that costs you 5 points. Okay? If you lose a contest and you're well trained and you've got enough balance in your team, the next player will come in and win it anyway. My theory on Jack Watts was, if you reward him for his offensive stuff, because he's that far better than pretty much the rest of the competition, he'll be better at the contest anyway. And true story, round 1, GWS, we lose contested possession this game, we win the game. We're 3 goals behind. GWS, one of the flag favourites. And I said to Jack Watts at 3/4 time, how many games have you played? And he said about 100. And this is on the record. You can go and get the tape if you want to see me talking to him. Did you want it? And he said, I played about 100. And I said, how many have you won off your own boot? And he said, no. And I said, I think you're going to do it today. I didn't even tell him how to do it. But Jack Watts is the sort of bloke that he just wants to win and he loves his teammates. He had 5 score involvements in that last quarter. Jesse Hogan kicked 3 goals, got all the credit. It was actually Wattsy giving the footy lace out in ways that other players couldn't do. And to me, that's just as valuable as contested footy. 22 Jack Watts won't win us a premiership, but neither will 22 Jack Viney. Should need a balance. You've got to reward players for what they're good at. So yeah, to answer your question, to me it's a systems-based game. You see Hawthorn Bulldogs, all that, get a lot of injuries. They never make excuses about it because the system is 18 in attack, 18 in defence, and they all cover off each other. Has anyone got a question from the room? Sorry, just
Craig, just today, you know, a wet ball, you know, you just said we do a lot of handballing now. Are we going to change our...
I hope so. So prior to the Hawthorn game, I mentioned to Woody and Ruzi, we've got a very specific way we play, so as other teams, but Hawthorn are the quickest to adjust to wet weather footy. They averaged 125 games, we were averaging about 65. But we lost that game, all game. I'm actually not that big at looking at stats, it's more about the feel of the game. At one point in the last quarter, and this has been building all game, we had 60 kicks off the ground and they had 50 kicks off the ground. So wet weather today, we just want to be, and we'll do it, we want to get rid of that handball game and just kick the ball forward, go long down the line. So the game's not as attractive, but if you get metres in territory, it's harder for the opposition to score. We also want to set up a little bit of what you call an anchor defence, as so will Sydney, where we've basically got a goalkeeper, those balls will go through, or forwards coming up and trying to race you back to goal in wet weather. So our games, all our planning for today goes out the window, and the old-fashioned wet weather footy comes in. We don't want to see handballing too much.
You said the Bulldogs won contested possession. They lost by 55 points.
That's right.
Please explain.
Happens all the time. So what Geelong did, put an enormous amount of pressure on them. And when we played the Bulldogs, we had 4 players going on the play with the ball, and they just they were throwing the footy. It's a big thing. And they'll throw them 3 metres out to 3 or 4 blokes on the periphery, and it's driving me crazy. But that's just a young team not getting it right. Whereas Geelong last night, if you watch it, they'd have 1 player going at the guy with the footy. The Bulldogs would try to throw it out. Geelong would just what I call pick off the receiver. So in reverse, when Geelong won a contest, they were giving 3 or 4 metre handballs in back after a lot of short kicking. When you take a mark, you can't get tackled. So Geelong had a really good game style. But where Geelong got maximum benefit is when they take a mark in the back 50 and go slow, they can go long down the line against the Bulldogs, because Bulldogs are quite small. And they win that long down the line and then do the same in the front 50. They took a lot of marks. So Geelong's style matched up really well. But you make the point, winning contested footy isn't everything. Really important, you want contested players, you don't want them to be weak at it, but there is a balance to it. Now Geelong get beaten by Collingwood, and the reason why, to play Collingwood you want to move the footy out wide all the time. Keep moving it, play on. Doesn't matter why, they're just not good at defending it. Okay? Might be their mids don't defend or defenders aren't great at positioning, but you want to get it out wide, but that's not Geelong's style. Their style is to go slow and long down the line, and that plays into Collingwood's hands. So when people say, oh, Collingwood are back because they've beaten Geelong, no, sometimes I talk to the coaches about rock, scissors, paper. You have 2 game styles. GWS are scissors, they'll try and slice through, so you want to be the rocks, you want to smash them, especially the handball game of stoppages. Okay, sometimes you just got to bring a different style of game based on opponent. If you just play the same way over and over again, it might not work against certain opposition. Geelong's style against Collingwood doesn't work, even though they're a better team. Their style against Bulldogs works really well.
Last one. Really interested, the team that really frustrates me is St Kilda. I feel we should beat them when we play them, and we haven't for a long time. The game that we played against them earlier in the year, I felt we lost that balance that you were talking about with the players in the contest. What did you say after the game, and how do you feel that we should play against St Kilda the way we should beat them?
I'll tell you what I said before the game, because Roosie copied me in the post-match. He took credit for that too. So what I said, and it's become a bit of a topic for us, is a young team. What I know about St Kilda is they're super fast, super big on tackles, but people see their ladder position and think you're automatically going to beat them. But we're a young team off a 6-day break. We're playing an Etihad against the fastest team, and we didn't make a selection change. What I was hoping we'd do would be to make 4 or 5 changes, and we didn't. And so a fast team, when you're tired and slow, do what they did against us. And then what happens is, when you're a young team like us, you lose your confidence, and then you don't play the way that you've been training. So the games we've lost, there's usually a breakdown. It's not the defender's fault. All those goals out the back are always the fault of the forwards or the players around the footy not putting pressure on or not coming forward to put pressure on. Because then it's an easy kick and it goes straight out the back. All those kicks forward should be high balls. So Oscar McDonald, Tommy McDonald will come in and spoil it. But basically, Roosie came out after that game and mentioned that maybe we should have made some changes. And you also have teams with habits. St Kilda come out and beat Carlton on the weekend after they got beat by 100 by Adelaide. Now, prior to that day, St Kilda just got beat by Hawthorn, played really well, then got smashed the week after, and they're a real rebound team. Okay, so they're a team that always plays pretty well after, it usually plays well after a loss, so a whole number of factors, that basically you're playing at Etihad, a fast deck, you're playing against a very fast team, we're off a 6-day break, we're young, we're tired, we played Richmond and Collingwood, who we're better than, but they beat us up. It was a really contested game because they had their backs to their ball. So, they're pretty tight going into that game, so they'll help. But all these things are really good for Goody because he's got a reference point next year. Getting games into younger players helps us. There's also the breaking these, whatever these hoodoos are, where we don't win 2 in a row, can't win an Etihad. All those things we're starting to break now, which makes life easier next year, that's for sure.
All right, yes, well,
I'll come over.
he'll come over to you and answer it. You're a lucky guy getting a bit of one-on-one with Craig Jennings. I've learned so much about the game of football just then. Imagine our players and what they're getting at the moment. It's really exciting, so I'm glad you came, Craig. Appreciate your time. Please give it up.